Hello, crypto world. Welcome to the Chart Historian. My name is Justin, and on this channel, I delve deep into crypto charts, exploring chart structures, fractals, and patterns. So in this video, I'm going to talk about XRP. I want to talk about where I believe it currently is at and what I believe will take place soon on this chart. So as you can see, XRP has been moving through this sideways range-bound time. I believe it is now completed or nearly completed this move up right here. The reason why I am unsure is I don't know if this is going to make another higher high or if it's going to turn down and begin to do this part of the structure. Now, it's not going to follow this structure exactly as we see it. It's going to be an original iteration of this in the same way that all this over here is an original iteration, although it, as you can see, follows the same idea. Now, what is this? So this here is the great fakeout. So as you can see, it starts off slow, but then it gets to a point where in typical XRP fashion, it just takes off. Let me zoom out so we can get a better idea of what this is. So here is a zoomed out picture. This is part of the third fractal of the sideways range-bound time. I will show you that in a minute. But as you can see, this thing shoots up very high. Let's zoom out a little more. So here we are on a 3-hour candle. And as you can see, it has the potential to challenge or even get above this structure over here. This was the ruling of the lawsuit that declined, and in the same fashion, this will do the same. Hence, the great fakeout. So just be prepared for that. Let's talk about the environment that will exist when this begins. There is going to be a lot of excitement. People are frustrated right now that Bitcoin is shooting up and XRP is doing this. So when this finally happens, people are going to be jubilant. Do not get caught up in this thinking that this is the bull run starting. That is what the narrative will likely be. Do not be deceived because this turns around and declines. In fact, this decline has potential to be substantial. Let me zoom out a little more. So I have placed a trend line connecting the lows of this greater move upward. Now, I don't know if it will go to this trend line, go below this trend line, or stay above it, but this is a possibility. Let's zoom in and get a better look at this. So this right here, this trend line is roughly, if it comes down at this point, is low 50s, 51 cents. It could go lower. It also could go higher. I don't know the exact amount that it's going to fall. I'm not here to make those type of predictions, nor do I know how high it will go. What I am here to do is warn you that this is going to happen. So here we are zoomed out a little more. And for those of you who follow this channel, you are fully aware of this structure. For those of you who are new, XRP has a repetitive macro structure. We have bull runs. We see that in all these places. They're different sizes. After the bull run comes a decline, and we see that repeat over and over again. In fact, this same structure exists if you go further back. After the decline is this range-bound time where price basically goes flat and sideways for the most part. And this sideways range-bound time takes place after the decline and before the next bull run. Now, I divide this into 3 separate fractals, and just to show you that it is a repetitive structure. So in fractal 1, we have part A where price moves up, moves back down, and then part B where it goes flat. We see that same thing over here. Part A where it moves up and down, part B where it goes flat. In fractal 2, we have wave A, wave B, and wave C. Well, we have that over here as well in fractal 2, wave A, wave B, and wave C. And we are now currently working through fractal 3. We have completed this little bounce right here. We are working through this one right here, this wave or bounce, whatever you want to call it. We're almost done. Soon we will begin on the great fake out, which is this. Now, the essence of fractal 3 is price moves up to a peak, it then crashes, moves up, does a correction, and then it's off to the bull run. So the good news is that this is the terminating fractal of this sideways range-bound time. So we are near the bull run, actually. Now, there is going to be turbulence ahead, and this is a warning to you to be prepared for that. So this structure is repetitive and has played out many times. This fractal 3 has played out many times in the past, and every time it plays out, it's different. It's a different iteration of the same basic idea, and that idea is price moves up to a peak, it crashes, it moves back up, does a correction before going into the bull run. If we zoom in over here, let's do that. We see that this fractal 3 looks different from the one we were just looking at, but it does the same thing. It moves up to a peak, it then crashes, it recovers, does that correction before moving into the bull run. And as you can see over here, while there is some differences, there are slight differences. So part A of fractal 1 moves up, moves down. Part B, instead of going flat, this happens sometimes on this one where it kind of arches down to a point before moving back up into fractal 2. Here we have part A. Part B is it's almost defined more by the dips at each end of the bounce. It still is a bounce, or a wave, but it's a very flat wave. And C is the typical kind of iteration of the C wave right here. So as you can see, it plays out uniquely, but it's the same basic concept at play every single time. We can go further back. So here is the bull run. Before that is another sideways range-bound time, the decline. And here we have that sideways range-bound time again. In fractal 1, part A with the move up, move down. Part B does the arch thing down again. Fractal 2 with its 3 waves, wave A, wave B, and wave C. Fractal 3 with the move up to a peak. It then declines or crashes. It then moves up, recovers, does that little correction before moving into the bull run. Same story, looks different every single time. And the reason why it looks different every single time is because the timing, height, and depth is going to be unique every single time a fractal repeats. So that can give the appearance of uniqueness or novelty to the structure when it plays out, but it's the same basic idea at play. Let's jump back to where we are today. So here we are back on a 1-hour candle, and price looks like it's getting ready to move down and in so doing fulfill this. After this decline takes place, get ready because excitement is gonna return to the XRP community. Do not be caught up in this thinking that this time is different. This is the exception because of blah, 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 insert reasons. It's not. This time is not different. It will turn over and decline. It may not look exactly like this, but it's going to do something similar to this in its own unique way. So prepare for that. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, it'd be much appreciated if you hit that thumbs up button. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. But if you did find this video interesting and would like to see more videos like this and you're not a subscriber yet, you should think about hitting that subscribe button. I'm going to be continuing to follow this structure as it develops. You're not going to find this type of TA anywhere else. This is original TA. Just remember that even though this decline takes place, we are at the end of the sideways range-bound time, and we got a bright future ahead of us. The bull run is just around the corner. So hang on tight, folks. Know what you hold. I'm so glad you caught this video. Have a great day, and bye for now.